obviously y'all played OU once. What impressed you about them the first time you saw them?
Just how much they compete, and the way that which they run their offense and they're competitive on defense. They're a really good team, and we definitely had to make some adjustments just coming into this game and just being prepared a little bit better.
I guess, Adam, just from a defensive perspective, you guys had some pretty good defensive performances, and they kind of lit you guys up a little bit on that side of the ball. What was that big takeaway in terms of maybe something you revealed about your defense that hasn't maybe allowed you guys to make a tweak going into this matchup?
Definitely, just trying to stay compact, protecting the paint. They do a really good job. I think they're like top 15 in the country in cutting. So we definitely put a lot of emphasis on that and focusing on that for this game.
Adam, Matthew shared some, insight on a conversation you guys had at halftime, maybe where he was trying to tell you to, just shoot more and build your confidence up. Did you hear what he said, and is that pretty much how it went down?
I heard it a little bit. Matt is a very confident guy. He always wants us to go out there and, let it fly. So, I had a different type of role, but I appreciate, his encouragement, just telling me to, stay myself always. So.
How have you built your confidence as that primary ball handler? Because obviously it's something that he even mentioned. He was like, yeah, it's like you wanted to try to be that role, and maybe you were going away from what you wanted. What's your comfort level in filling that role?
I'm very comfortable. I mean, whenever we're in practice, when we playing against each other, I'm always the primary ball handler. My coaching staff and my teammates trusted me to handle the ball. So, obviously it's adjustment being out there on the court, but it was nothing that wasn't too much. My teammates kept encouraging me, telling me to just play my game. So I'm glad we won.
John, what do you feel like the win the other night did for the team? Obviously, y'all needed a win at that point.
I really felt like that was a good reset for us. Just a reset point where we can just start on building up something else and keep on getting better. And it just showed us that doing the right thing and competing at the highest level as we can keep on getting us wins.
And how about just getting a big road win and going on the road again? How much will that help going again on the road?
I mean, it's the Big 12, and every single road game is like one of the hardest game ever. And it's always good to get a win in a tougher environment like West Virginia. They got a great crowd, great student section, and it was like good to play in an arena like that, and we can build onto that for the next game too.
What was the mentality like going into that game when you know you don't have James, Jeremy's already out? What was the mentality like just within the team?
I feel like nothing really changed. Like, we know the one-man show. I feel like every single player on the team, on the bench or on the floor, can impact the game or can have a career night. So we just felt like we just had to do our job and get the job done.
John, what do you guys think that you do well when you guys go on the road? Because undefeated, away from home, seems like for most teams that's where a lot of their issues are. But for you guys, what have you done well to have that success?
Just being mature, just cut out all the noise around us and just locking in on the scouting report. Sometimes we feel like being on the road, it helps us just cut out the noise and just locked in on the game. Just having like that one goal, how can we get better and how can we beat this team?
What do you take away as opposed from the first time you guys played Oklahoma to this one?
I definitely realize Oklahoma might be the best cutting team I've ever seen. They're great at cutting. They're really good at running the offense. They got good post players. They got a good guard. They're good at what they do, and they know what they're good at. So it's definitely going to be a good game.
What makes Tanner Groves a tough guard just in the post and really on that side of the ball?
I would say he's a really complete player. He can play, score all three level. I need to give him some kudos for that. He's really hard to guard, like when you don't have a good scouting report for him. And I really believe that he's one of the best big men in the Big 12. So it's definitely going to be a good matchup.
All right, what do you got?
Scott, obviously y'all played them once. They run a very precise offense.
Yeah.
Just what impresses you about them?
I think first their efficiency on offense, in which their field goal percentage is outstanding. They get a lot of shots and points in the rim, in that charge circle area, and they do a great job moving and cutting without the ball, and nowadays the game's so often played off ball screens and off the bounce, and they do a great job with the 5-out cuts.
Coach, obviously, pros, cons of playing a team, not only twice, but playing them kind of in quicker succession than maybe you're used to?
Well, the great thing about the Big 12 is you play everybody twice, home and road, so it's fair, it's equal. In a perfect world, you'd like to play everybody once, then play everyone else again. But it is what it is, and normally scheduling conflicts and whatnot, you're not able to do that. So some teams you play before you play someone else, and that's usually just something you have to deal with. It does lead to where if you're playing people quick, where if you got a guy out for a couple weeks, you might face a team that's completely different with a guy or 2 or 3 back. That later in the year, if you'd played them, it would have been something different. But everybody deals with injuries and whatnot and COVID, so it is what it is.
You like that it's kind of fresh in you guys' minds? Say, hey, remember how he did?
Well, the good thing is the scouts not nearly as long from the standpoint they've only played a couple games since your game, so you've done the prep before your game, what worked after your game you can analyze, and then what teams have done since then. But at the end of the day, it's hard beating people twice, and human nature takes over where the team that's been beaten is usually a little more motivated, and the team that's won usually not. So you got to guard against that.
Obviously, you've had some injuries between then and now, but how would you say your team has changed between the last time you played them and now?
Well, obviously James and Jeremy, that's 2 key pieces. At the same time, it's allowed other players a chance to play and step up, and depending on James and Jeremy continue to get better, will they play? I don't know. Each day it's something different. Praying for health, but some days it looks good, some days it looks like it'll be a little bit. So we'll wait and see.
How do you keep from getting too frustrated with injuries and dealing with managing a personnel like that?
Well, you know it's part of the game. You just don't like when they start to stack up. And again, we've had 1 season-ending injury already with Langston. Since season has actually begun, we've had no one out for the season, but you've had several people out during the season. And one game is not the end of the world, but when it starts adding up to 3, 4, and 5, it does start to affect how you play and what you do.
So you have a fairly confident team, but after the skid, to see your leading scorer out, your second leading rebounder out, but kind of finding a way to win.
Yeah.
Did the light bulb kind of turn back on in Morgantown?
Well, I think the guys really were together. They really were competing at a high level, and doesn't guarantee you're going to win, but it definitely gave us a chance. And I thought the guys that didn't play really did a great job on the bench, and everybody was involved, and that's what it takes. When a man's down, everyone's got to pick it up, and when you're a couple men down, you got to pick it up. So we'll see who we have go, and whoever. The one thing we don't want to do is be in a situation where we put someone out there that doesn't help the team. So we want to make sure that they're able to do that for sure.
Whenever you have a team like you do this year that's been really good and successful on the road, what are those usual defining characteristics that they all have that allow them to have that success away from home?
Well, in each of those games, you have to have a togetherness, and you have to have a toughness, because the crowd's going to be loud at some point. The home team's going to go on a run at some point. I don't know if we've been down in all our road games, but we might have, and that's just the ebbs and flows. And then to be able to come back when you are down. I know with Oregon we were down, and West Virginia we were down, and that's a tribute to the guys coming back.
Scott, how did you feel like Adam did running the point?
I thought first play of the game it got me a little worried, but after that I thought he really settled in, and only 13 turnovers. Definitely we want less, but we can win with that number, and the fact that most of them weren't live ball turnovers was huge, and not having a turnover, I believe, in the last 8-10 minutes was critical. And I thought Adam, Dale, LJ, everyone that handled the ball really did a good job.
The way LJ shot this year, did you expect him to shoot so well outside? Or
Yeah, I think definitely we know he's a great shooter. I think the speed in which he gets his shot off is improved. His range is improved, and that's allowed him to be able to get more quality shots off. And then at the same time, he's improved his ability to play off the bounce, and because he can get to the rim, people just can't load up on him. So I think all those have kind of led into him being one of the best shooters in college basketball.
Against West Virginia, getting out in transition, pressing the pace a bit more, seemed to help y'all get on some runs. Is that important moving forward, and is it any more important given the injuries that you have?
Well, I think in transition, that's always the easiest way to score, but I think every team's kind of different from the standpoint. West Virginia likes to send four to the glass. They like to press after misses, which means they have more people up. So if you get a clean rebound, you have a better chance to break. You play OU, and last time we faced them, they were sending 4 and 5 back. So just because you want to run, it's very similar in football. If they put everybody in the box, you got to pass, and if they put everyone in long, then you probably got to run. So the best way is always off turnovers, and our defense generates turnovers, so that's a good thing. The bad thing is last time we played Oklahoma, they really hurt us with our aggressiveness on back cuts. So there's you got to get a fine line and a combination that works. You get turnovers, but you're not giving up back cuts and layups and dunks.
After the win, Matthew Meyer said he was relieved because it meant you were going to have some tough practices. Just curious what your thoughts were on that one.
Yeah, Matt. I'm always curious to see what Matt says. So, but I mean, I think the players, when you lose, there's always a more attention to detail and focus and more locked in. It's probably similar to you getting an F on a test. That next test, you probably study a little harder. You're probably a little more prepared. Doesn't guarantee you'll get a better grade, but you just don't want to do what you did that led to the last F.
2 of the past 3 games, you guys have built a pretty sizable first half lead. I know that you talk all the time about teams go on runs, y'all included. What kind of message have you given your team about keeping that momentum you build and not letting those leads dissipate quite a bit?
Well, I think every coach preaches every possession and not being satisfied, not getting loose with the ball when you get a lead. But I mean, like you said, in the last 3 games, we're up big at Tech, and then they come back and take a 7-point lead, and then we have a chance. West Virginia, big lead, they come back, take the lead, then we take it again. You flip it the other way, Oklahoma State, a huge lead. We come back and have a chance. So I think basketball is a game of runs with the 3-point shot, and as aggressive and as athletic as teams are and the turnovers, I think you just have more spurts. When you didn't have the 3-point shot, when most teams played half-court defense, when most teams were slower, I mean, a 6-point lead was huge. Now a 6-point lead is like a 12-point lead.
James is one of 5 senior transfers leading their team in scoring. You talk about just the impact those guys make, but also is that a lot, because you've had a lot of success with transfers, but most of those guys have set out. Is that a lot harder to do it when you're coming in 1 year?
Yeah, definitely it's a lot harder coming in and playing 1 year because not only do you have to learn the offense and defensive system a lot quicker, you have to learn your teammates, and it's just all the above. I mean, there's also a dynamic when you come in and you're the leading scorer and you get a lot of accolades and praise, and the returning players, they got to be okay with that, and they got to support that, and they got to be about the team, and the person coming in's got to be about the team. So I mean, where if you sit out for a year, you build relationships, you learn styles, but you have a little more equity with your teammates, and I think every coach kind of deals with that nowadays, with people stepping in, playing right away, and being new to campus, because we all have the same challenges. First, you got, like I said, short-term adjustments where Davion, Maceo, I mean, those guys got to be on scout team for a whole year, learn the other team's offenses and defenses, see them up and close in person, and then build relationships with the team so that they were tighter knit, where everybody now you try to, it's kind of like trying to get married in the first month. I mean, normally you date a couple years, you know, and that's just all the stuff that goes in it.
Any update on?
You like that, didn't you?
Any updates on Jeremy and James and their availability for this weekend?
I mean, it's a game time decision, and literally that's, I mean, it's as simple as trainer comes in, they're a go or they're not. And the good thing is I have my job, they have their job, and they tell me what we can and can't do.
How'd they do on the coaching front?
Good. James said he did get a gray hair and it was stressful, so I know he likes to play more than coach, and I know both of them aren't used to being out, so that's a good thing.
Anything else?
Thanks, Scott.
Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.